Okay, I think we are live. So, hello to everyone watching and welcome to the opening race of Season 2 of our APAC division here in United Racing League. We are 2.5 minutes into quali already here at Bahrain. As we see our first spin immediately. Yeah, Division APAC. We continue on the racing after we saw Division 4 and Division 2 yesterday evening with some exciting races, hoping that our Asia Pacific boys can replicate some of that action today, once again around the Bahrain International Circuit. So these drivers have had quite a off-season break. Of course, Season 1, their season ended around mid-February, so they have almost had to wait 2 months to get back to racing, but here we are, back. And yeah, first race, Bahrain, interesting circuit. We have already had quite a few races around this track in the last couple of days. And yeah, maybe it's a good idea to take you through the grid. So let's start with Mercedes. We have Uzair, the driver who has already raced in Season 1 of APAC, and he is alongside The Rock, a very quick driver, joined halfway through Season 1 and scored a win on his debut back in Silverstone. Then we go on to Ferrari, who have a very strong pairing with Ashley and Ural Cramp, both very quick drivers, proven race winners here in APAC, hoping that they can mount a title challenge this season. Of course, Ashley missed out narrowly on the Season 1 title in the last race. Going on to Red Bull, I think we have two new drivers, Jay Wilco and Plebs. An interesting lineup, don't really know what to expect from them. Maybe a bit of underdog team, but certainly want to keep an eye out on. Then onto McLaren, we see Toddy Rumble here, a man that managed to score in every round of the championship last season, finishing third overall in the standings, as he is about to finish his first lap, goes P3 for the moment. Then alongside him is Diano, also a Season 1 returning driver. A bit up and down season for him, hoping to put in a consistent season this time around. Then on to Renault with Taufik Nafal and Jay Kelly. Again, two drivers who have already driven in Season 1 of APAC. Taufik scoring a couple of podiums and yeah, hoping to continue that strong form in Season 2. Then let's go to AlphaTauri, who just have the one driver today of BG. A new driver, interesting to see what he'll be able to do, as he is stopped on the exit of pit lane but is getting going again. Then Alfa Romeo, also two new drivers with Errol 9 and Lando the 4. Lando the 4, the only American in this division. And going on to Haas with BPV8, very quick driver, new to URL, but yeah, definitely interesting to see what he'll be able to do. He is also alone today. And then onto the last team, Williams, with at the moment only Carson running for them, getting out of the way, it seems. Yeah, Carson also did some good races in Season 1 and Hello, hello, hello. I think so. We should be. I've been talking for quite some time now, but yeah, it's good to have a co-commentator for today. So yeah, I just went through the grid a bit, talking about the drivers. Don't know if you were a bit familiar with some of the names on this grid.
For me. This is new for me, so I think I'm gonna learn more about what these drivers' attributes are. But for sure, I know about URL George Cramp, that they're one of the best too. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We have our reigning champion is missing today, GeForce Swaggy. He is not in the lobby at the moment, but yeah, Ural Cramp, Carson, actually all quick drivers, but there are also a lot of unknowns of new drivers who joined for this season. So yeah, looking at the times right now, we have Joseph on provisional pole. He's on his outlap, going to start his second flyer of the session.
They're still doing slow laps right now. I think the fastest lap would be around 125, or maybe even 124s in here.
Yeah, definitely. That definitely can go faster. We saw yesterday in one of our most quickest Division 2, we had a pole time of, I believe, 124.5. So there's definitely some time to gain still for the drivers here.
What are the assists that these drivers can use?
I think they're allowed to use ABS and medium traction and the racing line. But for other assists, I think they have to use manual gearbox, and of course no braking assist, no DRS assists. So I think ABS and traction control are the only assists allowed for the drivers today and for the rest of this season, of course.
Are all these drivers from Asia?
Most of them are from Australia, actually.
Australia, okay.
Some from Hong Kong. I know Carson is from Hong Kong. And we also have one American in here. He is 11th at the moment. Lando the 4. He is from the United States. So yeah, looking at Joseph Lai, our current pole sitter, ending his lap and improving by over 2.5 tenths. So we're getting closer to that 125.0, 125.1 you were talking about.
Little bit away from the time that we target for these drivers, but as less than 8 minutes remaining, we have some good close as well times between the top 5. As I reckon, there's only 1 second between them, but now we're seeing that all the drivers are now on the soft tires, so this is going to be interesting as well to see, because when they're the last like 2 minutes, 1 minute, the track will have more grip, and definitely Bahrain will have also less times that from the qualifying.
Yeah, especially the track evolution will play a big role towards the end of the session. As we see drivers now starting their second flyer.
Also, they need to be aware that they don't make more than 1 lap on those new softs, else they need to start the race on two laps on those softs, and it will be a struggle to have only 1 stop with those soft tires.
Yeah, exactly.
Here we have 25% race.
50%.
50% race, sorry. So basically the strategy would be because Bahrain, as we saw also in Formula 1, you need to use those hard tires, else you will need to make 2 stop. So you go for the soft, medium and soft, or maybe soft, medium and medium.
Yeah. Especially for the guys in the top 10, it will be hard to make that 1 stop work when they're starting on the soft tires, and as you said, you don't want to be driving multiple laps on the tire you qualify on. That will make it even more difficult to get those softs to a point where you can easily switch to a hard tire and make it to the end of the race. So around here it might be beneficial to start just outside the top 10, have a free tire choice, as we see Ural Cramp with the fastest time of the session so far, 1:25.018, almost into the 1:24s, and still 5 minutes to go.
Oh, we have an accident. Uzair, he just lost his traction in the second sector, as Nikita Mazepin did in real life. But
yeah, almost parking on
damage
exactly
now,
the same.
so he needs to get in the pits as soon as possible, so he can at least try to do another lap. But we need to reckon as well that this guy, he's trying to make another hot lap with those tires with 4 laps on the softs. So definitely it's not a good strategy for this driver of the Mercedes team. And he had a little bit also of a dirty air from the other guy of Ferrari. I can't find the name of the guy.
I
Ferrari.
think that was Ashley just in front of him.
Ash, yes, of course, because there's the only one guy from Ferrari. But yeah, it was a little bit of a tricky situation over there. We have 2 guys who didn't make any laps so far. I can't say the name, but it's like Leo Weirdo.
Yeah,
Like
the Haas driver in P17 at the moment. He joined halfway through the session. Yeah,
he's on his hot lap right now.
Let's ride on board with him as he goes a bit wide through turn 11, but keeps the car on the track. Now flat out through turn 12. 1:3.9, lock up into 13, keep it within the track limits, and now power down towards the last 2 corners, which is actually just 1 corner, into turn 14 and 15 and up to the line. Oh, only 5,000 slower than Cramp at the moment, and that's gives him
lap.
P2, a really good lap from L30. I'm trying to find some name
let's call
within
him
that
Weirdo
name.
because his last name is Weirdo, definitely.
Yeah, let's keep it at that. And
So we have also another guy who is on the medium tires. Now he's on his outlap. I believe that he's on the softs now. In fact, yes, he's on the softs. His name is Diano, yes. Right now he's running in 18th position, but definitely he's trying to get the right temperature for those tires, and we wish him good luck as he's going to start also the second sector for this outlap. How important in this track it is to try at least to not get into traffic, because as you can see, almost all the drivers when they were on track, but now a lot of the drivers are in the pit lane waiting to go for the last lap, so everyone is going to be on the track.
yeah, definitely it will be very important to find a clean piece of track here, as especially through the middle sector it's so hard to follow cars with the dirty air through the high-speed corners. So yeah, they'll be trying to find some space for themselves. Diano going for just a one-time lap, it seems, as there is less than 2 minutes on the clock.
I think he will manage to do another lap. This is going to be 2 laps for Diano. So let's go through. He just turned on DRS. Right now he's on the main straight. He needs to take a little bit more on the left on the curb. So we will try also to take these 2 turns without taking any curb, because it might affect your traction. A little bit of traffic in front of him. This is another DRS zone, which we're going to see a lot of overtakes, but very clean by him. A little bit slow on that corner. This is a very tricky situation as well, because we saw another guy that now he's DNF.
Yeah,
in fact,
riding on board.
I think this is gonna be also a yellow flag for the other drivers who are behind him.
Yeah, he got on the curve on the exit of turn 7. I just saw it. Really tricky curve there. If you ride it too much it will just throw the car out, and that's exactly what happened to Diana, who will be starting from the back of the grid. And it's not looking good for McLaren right now, with Toddy still in the pits and in 17th, so not the best of start for the McLaren boys.
Right now I'm following also Joseph, who is running a very good lap.
Yeah, purple in the first sector.
Also, yes, he's running the fastest sector so far. This guy is also experienced in taking these corners. Very well balanced car. I believe that he's using only ABS as an assist, and maybe the corner line.
I think most drivers still use the corner line indeed.
Yes, he also have less fuel than other cars. In fact, as you can see, there's the red dot. A little bit also of a slipstream from the Ferrari guy.
Yeah, he was a tenth up in the second sector.
Right now he's going for the last corner. Very well managed, taking a little bit of curb, not losing it at all. And let's see Joseph which lap he will do. And he comes second as URL Cramp improves his time by 1/10, I think, almost 1/10.
They're the only two drivers within the 124s, as Cramp defends his pole position just enough to fend off an attack from Joseph.
There's also Taufik, who is running out the straight, and he also gets another position from 5th position to 4th position.
And now Plebs.
So there's only one guy. Oh, he takes another position, Plebs.
Yeah, goes 5th. So just 24 thousandths between P1 and P2, and then another 30 thousandths back to P3. So a very close qualifying session here, as I think we're just waiting for RL9, but he won't be improving on his lap. So I think that's qualifying done.
Exactly, and now we have also the first pole for this first race of this season. And it's a very good lap by URL Crab, and also it was also close by the other two drivers, Joseph and I forgot the name, Weirdo from the Haas. As you can see, he's Australian, and right now I think the situation is very interesting, because from the 1st position to the 8th position there's only 1 second between them, even less than a second between them.
Yeah, just 7 tenths from Cramp to the Rock in P8, then a bit of a gap to RL9 and Lando completing the top 10. User starting P11, so I'd say that's a pretty favorable position for him, having the free tire choice here. And then just looking down, we see that Toya's left the session, so there's
also a Polish guy competing, and he is the only guy from Europe that is competing. We need to be very excited for this race, because Bahrain offers a lot of entertainment, and this is going to be interesting also for the strategy. Who's going to make the first move? Who's going to do the undercut, overcut? DRS is going to be in action for sure, and let's hope that they will have as much as possible clean racing. What are your thoughts about this race?
Yeah, I think especially since we quite have a few drivers who already raced in the first season here, already picked up quite some experience, I think we'll be in for an exciting race with some fair and clean, but most importantly exciting racing. And I see that more and more people are leaving the session. Maybe could you try to invite some of them back?
I think there's a problem, or maybe they're just waiting for the strategy. I think there's only 3 drivers which are already ready up. I don't think we will have rain for sure in this race because it's Bahrain. At least there's no sandstorms. So 18 drivers, they're ready. 29 laps in this track, the first race, the opener for Bahrain. And as you can see, first place, Cramp will start in pole. Second place, we have Joseph Alai. Third place, Tofik. Fourth place we have Plevs. Fifth place, if you can say the name, because I can't say it for sure, but it's something like BB V8.
Yeah, BB V8. Yeah, that's all we can make of it.
Sixth place it's Carson. Seventh place is the Rock of One. Eighth place we have Lou. Ninth place we have Lando the Fort. 10th place we have Uzair. 11th place we have BJ4215. 12th place we have G Kelly on that Racing Point. 13th place we have Ash from Ferrari. 4th place it's Wilco. 15th place is Hammer. 16th place it's Toddy Rumble. 17th place we have Deyando. And 18th place we have Leo Weirdo. Leo Weirdo glitched the game because he joined late the session. So basically he qualified in 3rd, but he's gonna start from the last. It's a little bit unlucky to have that, but
yeah.
I'm sure that he's going to have the race pace also to overtake the other boys.
Yeah, that's a bit of a shame having to when you join midway through quali, you will automatically be put towards the back of the grid no matter where you qualify. Now I see a lot of people leaving. I think we're going to make a new lobby, but I'm not sure about that.
They're not leaving, I think. They're disqualified, though.
No, in the bottom of the screen, Wilco is left now. Don't know if you can see that as well, but
I can't see any people leaving, but
okay, now,
it might be a glitch as well.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are leaving, so
this happens sometimes.
Yeah, I think we'll have to leave the lobby. There will be a new lobby. So we will make a new lobby. I think there was a problem with one of the assist restrictions. So,
okay, so
we'll have
basically we're gonna create a new lobby, yes?
Yeah, I think it's already created. So I'll just try and get into there and then invite you as well.
Okay, I received your invitation.
That's great. So I don't know if we will just redo the race or if we'll do quali again as well. I'm not sure what's happening.
So we need to wait for the orders.
Yeah, just some confusion going on. I don't think we actually had one lobby or one division this week which has had no problems at all. I think we had multiple restarts, and yeah, once again it's not going as smoothly as you hope for, but oh well, I think that's one of the things that comes with having a new season. But hopefully it won't impact the racing we'll see later on.
Of course it will not impact it. Sometimes also it glitches in the game where there's supposed to be safety cars, but we don't see any safety cars or virtual safety cars coming in. Safety car is a game changer in this game, because when you have a safety car it gives an advantage for those who didn't pit yet and they need to make a pit. So basically, hopefully we'll have no glitches at all, and even all the drivers will take their positions as they are qualified. If there's no qualification, if there's no 80 minutes of qualification again, if there's an 80 minutes qualification, hopefully we will see again another challengeful qualification.
I think we'll just use the grid as it was after qualifying. So that means Eurocramp will start from pole position. So So yeah, we'll just have to make sure all the drivers, of course, start on the tires they actually qualified on. So everyone in the top 10 has to start on softs, which still be newer than the tires they did their qualifying on. So slight advantage for the guys who qualified in the top 10, getting to start on slightly fresher softs now with the new lobby.
We are waiting for the right direction, if there's gonna be a qualification or not, or is it confirmed?
I think we'll just do the 50% race, so no qualifying restart.
So as it seems that we're gonna start soon enough this race, 29 laps in Bahrain. What are your thoughts now about this race, now that these guys are going to have fresh softs for their advantage for the top 10?
I think it might make it easier to actually do a one stop from softs to the hards. All the drivers will have to keep their concentration up high. This of course doesn't help, but yeah, I don't think we'll see major differences in strategies now. Soft tires will be 1 or 2 laps fresher, but I still think most of them will try the one stop. Of course, as you said, safety cars can play quite a big role in this. When it comes out, when you have to pit, when you want to pit. So yeah, timing will be crucial, and I think the guys with the free tire choice will probably just go from mediums to hards or the other way around, and I think they're still slightly in the advantage, but yeah, overall I think we're in for an exciting race.
Do you think that they will play the team game for McLaren, Renault, as the first driver is now well preferred from the second driver, as they had a better qualifying?
That's to be seen. Of course, there's no real thing as team orders, as we don't really have any team principals or racing engineers, but of course the drivers are allowed to talk with each other during the race. So I think, of course, when you're in the same team you can't box at the same time, so logically you'd give preferation to the car in front, but that will probably be important for the cars that are a bit closer towards each other on the grid, with Ferrari of course cramp on pole and Ashley down in 14th. They probably won't be holding each other up if they were to pit on the same lap, since they're so far away from each other. But yeah, drivers within the same team who are a bit closer on the grid, for example both McLarens, they'll have to adjust their strategy according to what the other does, of course.
Of course, right now we also reviewing some of the qualifying. Cramp is the favorite to win this race for sure, even from his past results, but definitely Joseph is going to give him a challenge, and I think also the Weirdo, he's going to try to give these two another challenge. As we see, a lot of Australian drivers, we have also one guy from USA, and that flag, the other flag, I think it's Hong Kong.
Yeah.
There's around 4 drivers from Hong Kong, and there's also a driver from, I think, Poland or Monaco. I am not sure about.
Actually Indonesia.
Or maybe yes, it's Singapore.
Or Singapore, one of those two.
Yep.
At
Yes,
least from
Singapore, in fact.
From the Asia Pacific region.
It's Tofik. It's Tofik with the Renault, and he is running with that flag, the Singapore flag. Almost Singapore. I think it's Indonesia. Yeah.
Yeah, Singapore has some sort of moon
they're
in
so
the
close
top corner
to each other
yeah.
that you can't even recognize them. They're supposed to be the moon for the Singapore flag.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
no moon there, so. But even in Europe, there's flags like that, so I got a little bit confused on that. I don't think there's New Zealand. All are Australia. These drivers are racing right now. What is the time in the Pacific
I
time
think
frame?
it's right around 10 p.m. So towards the late evening.
And we just started the day here in Europe.
Yeah.
Me and you are from Holland. I'm from Malta.
Just crawled out of bed.
And even they have summer, and we don't have summer yet. Right?
Yeah. We actually had some snow last week here in the Netherlands.
Yes, because right now the climate is changing for everyone.
Yeah.
There's also one guy, I can't recall that flag, but it may be the United Arab Emirates.
I don't think he's actually from there, but I think that is the United Arab Emirates flag. But The Rock is definitely from Australia, but he's just picked another flag, I think.
Of course. There's also Vivek, who is the organizer of this championship. A lot of time which he sacrificed for all these divisions. And I would like to give him to thank him for giving me this opportunity to be part of this commentary box team, and also thanks to Unicomania for being a well introducing for this first season.
Yeah, no worries. I hope we will have some great races to commentate on this season.
Seems they're readying up. Maybe it's a little bit of moments left that we're going to have this race started. As we're going to go back for the hot lap, sorry, it's the formation lap, I think, no?
Yeah, it should be... formation lap should be turned on. So, yeah, it's a bit of a delay, unfortunately, but we'll get racing nonetheless.
And as you can see, also the ghosting is off. So drivers who catch the drivers who are at the back, they're gonna have blue flags. It's very important that they will get out of the way, or else they might collide with the other guys, and for sure there will be the stewards taking some penalty or actions against those drivers. So it's very important that we'll have the best clean racing, even if it's the guy who's your rival in this game.
Yeah, I think most of these drivers do have a lot of respect for each other. It's a close group. I think they're like a bit separated from the rest of the championships, since they're in such a different time zone to everyone in Europe. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the first season of this APAC division, and I hope it will get even better this season, as we now go towards the grid for our very first race of URL Season 2 here in the APAC division.
Those who are watching us can comment, they can like the stream and also share it with their friends. It's gonna be one hell of a race. Almost, this is the first night race also for the season. It's the first race, but it's the first night race as well. So you expect that the grip level of those tires, they will suffer a little bit more because it's a night race.
Yeah, keeping the rears intact and not having your tires overheat will be a big challenge, as the drivers now start the formation lap. And I immediately see that someone within the top 10 has decided to start on the medium tires. Now, that is a bit of a problem, since that's not allowed by the regulations, but we'll cope with that afterwards. We'll now just focus on the race itself. Looking through the rest of the grid, we have, of course, as you would expect, a lot of medium runners outside of the top 10. Wilco and Diano even starting on the hard tires, and Toddy, interestingly, starting on the mediums or on the softs, despite having the free tire choice.
Number 15 and number 18, Diando and Wilco, to start on those hards, because as soon as you have the first safety car, your strategy is ruined. So let's hope that for these two drivers there will be no safety car, so they can manage their strategy well.
Yeah, for them they'll be hoping for a safety car a bit later on in the race, of course, when their hard tires start to go off, and when they have to make their one and only stop of this race. Yeah, let's hope we can have a clean race, not too many incidents. Of course, you never want to not finish your first race of the new season, and especially not if your name is Eurocramp and you are on pole for this race here in Bahrain, as the drivers now roll towards their grid slots, and we'll get ready for those 5 red lights to go on and then out for the start.
Who are your favorites to win this race, apart of Eurocramp?
Well, I think the guys on the 4th row of the grid, Carson and The Rock, they have a lot of pace. The guy just ahead of him, BP, in P6, also a big unknown. And of course, guys like Ashley, who were really quick last season. A bit of a disappointing qualifying today, but on the alternate strategy, they could make quite a big impact.
As 5 lights are gone, Tofik, he have a drive-through penalty for a jump start, but he also have the medium tires, so he need to be a little bit aware. But a very good start by Eurocramp, and the first, also the Haas driver, BP, he overtakes Josephi, no accidents, but we see also the Haas guy, Weirdo,
oh, and there's a big crash between the two Alfa Romeos.
So the teammates just gone wide and crashed between them. First lap, doesn't seem there's a safety car, but there's also some yellow flags.
Yeah, all drivers still in the race, but a great start from Cram, and an even better start for BP, as you said, from P6 up to P2, jumping Joseph. And I think that was one of the Mercedes who got also involved in that incident with both Alfa Romeos.
In fact, it was The Rock, I think, who had a little bit of a clip between the no, I think between the Haas, but there was Uzair, yes, which had a little bit of contact as well.
Uzair's front wing seems to be still intact, as all drivers still on the racetrack, but some of them.
By Ash, he just overtook The Rock. Final 3 corners.
And we have a Red Bull off at turn 13. It's Jay Wilco on his hard tires, down to last place, as Cram sets the fastest lap of the race. And Taufik, I think, immediately will serve his drive-through penalty for jumping the start. Yes, he will.
Also messing the pits, because he had a little bit of damage.
And also Lando the 4, the Alfa Romeo that got off worse than his teammate, losing most of his front wing. He'll now box for a new one and switch to another set of medium tires. So it seems to have calmed down a bit. Quite a hectic opening lap, but Cramp still in first place, already pulling a 1.1 second gap to BP in P2. Gap starting to form at the front of the grid, and people like Jay Kelly and Ashley are in a very good position, as Ashley looks to make a move down into turn 11, thinks better of it. Already up into the P10 on the medium tires, and looking like they're in a very good position to make this one-stop work.
It seems that the guy from Renault, Jay Kelly, is a little bit slow. In fact, also Ash is going to try to overtake him. It's very well late braking, but he needs to also remember that there's the penalties which you can take after exceeding the limit 3 times. Right now also there's no DRS. It's going to be the first lap of DRS now as we reach lap 3. Ash, he overtakes well as well on Kelly. Also the McLaren guy is being chased by the Racing Point net hammer. Pretty interesting laps as we reach now the first 3 laps. What are your thoughts about the first 3 laps that we've seen right now?
Yeah, I think at the front, Cramp controlling the pace in front of BP with an excellent start. Some people dropping down, guys like Ashley already up into P7, steering clear of the chaos in front of them, and he is in a very good position right now. The lead medium runner in P7, and already putting a gap on the Renault, who's now coming under pressure from Diano and Nethammer. So
right now they need to also remember that if they put the hards in around lap 6 or 7, they can manage to do all the race with those hards, but they will be a little bit more slow. In fact, they need to be aware also that the other guys who's running medium and then they're making 2 stops with the double softs or maybe medium soft medium. It's gonna be interesting for these guys also to catch the guys who are having the hard tires. One pit stop only. As we saw already, Uzair, he takes another 3-second penalty.
I'm going to interrupt you because we're going 3 wide into turn 1, and Diano makes the move stick on Jay Kelly, who's going backwards right now, and Hammer is all over the back of the Renault as well, going into turn 4. Round the outside.
Driver is a little bit slow than the other drivers. In fact, he already lost 6 positions, I think.
Yeah, not the best of start for the Renault team. Of course, Taufik starting on the wrong tires, then jumping the start. He is down in 13th at the moment, 12 seconds behind BJ in P12. But yeah, Diano also in a very good position. Of course, he was one of 2 cars who started on the hard tires. And if he can keep up this pace and keep people on the mediums behind, he'll definitely have a good chance later on in the race once he switches to mediums, while all the rest around him are on older hard tires.
So right now we also have some people commenting and trying to involve themselves in the live chat. We say hello to No Warp, Josh Wilkinson, who is also a driver.
And we have a move for second place here, down into turn 1. Sorry to interrupt you once again, but that was a very late dive bomb from Joseph. And now BP on the back of him, but can't make.
He's gonna have the DRS soon in the last corner, but Justify, he seems that he's catching also Cramp. He was losing a little bit of time from Cramp because of the Haas driver who's a little bit slow behind him, but now Joseph is almost in DRS range as we reach this tricky corner over here. A little bit of a late braking from this guy, but also
no lockup,
not locking his tires. 1.2 seconds away from the leader, but definitely he's having a good pace and he knows what he's doing.
And Ashley meanwhile has gotten past Weirdo and he is up into P6. Weirdo not having the best of starts, starting from P3 now down to P7. Struggling, it seems, with his tires already after just 4 laps.
It seems that the only driver who doesn't have any cars behind him or before him is Carson, as there's a little bit of a gap of 4 seconds ahead of him, and there's around 5 seconds behind him. So this guy can now show us what he's got to catch laps on those 5 laps of softs. Maybe he's gonna do another lap and then try to go for the medium or hard tires. We see what strategy these guys prepared for us, but definitely also if there's a safety car, this is gonna be a game changer for those guys who are having softs right now.
Yeah, and he of course has a nice yardstick behind him in the form of Ashley, and as long as he's still quicker than the Ferrari driver, I'd say stay out and try to make your life a bit easier, going onto the hards a bit later, saving yourself tire wear and not having to struggle on the tires towards the end of the race. As we see a battle in the second sector.
Very good battle between these two. The 8th and 9th place, too
I got
wide.
a perfect camera angle here from the helicopter, and once Diano gets past Jay Kelly, gets past the racing point of Nat Hammer, Jay Kelly says thank you very much, I'll take that position as well, and Nat Hammer loses 2 positions once again. Really
was a little bit more slow in that corner, as you see that the guy from the Renault just overtook him very easily by just going on his left, trying to do also a little bit of a late braking. It's a very interesting race so far. Lap 7, a lot of overtakes, and we're gonna see a lot of DRS in action as they are all having DRS. The only driver who doesn't have DRS is Deando, but he have a little bit of ERS to use, as he used only 40% so far.
And Diano goes defensive into turn 1. Kelly will have to go the long way round. Does he manage? Not quite. But Diano goes wide to...
Let's not forget also that this guy, Diano, he have the hard tires on. So it's a little bit of a tricky situation right now for Diano to have those less fast lower tires.
Yeah, but he's holding on. He's holding on quite nicely, still in 8th place, keeping those cars behind him.
We're also seeing that Weirdo is around 4 seconds behind Ash, and it's being chased by Leandro actually, and he's catching him very fast.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like Weirdo is having the best of races so far. Now that might be because he is not running the correct setup. I've just seen that he failed to load a setup going into this race. So that might explain why he is a bit slower, as we have our first official pit stop on lap 7 as Plebs goes into the pits and as expected switches to the hard compound tires to go to the end of the race.
As we can see also on our screen, if I can also talk a bit, we see Nat Hammer that he have already 6 seconds of penalty, and there's Muzair which have 3 seconds. The other drivers, no penalty so far, but most of the drivers are running on 1 or 2 warnings already.
Yeah, of course, it's quite easy to get some warnings around here, especially at the track limits at the exit of turn 4. Of course, widely discussed in real life as well. But the game, I think, is a little bit stricter than the FIA last time we raced at Bahrain in real life. So yeah, not track extending and keeping it clean, not picking up any penalties will definitely be important towards the end of the race. As Plebs has come out right behind this battle between Nat Hammer, Jay Kelly and Diano, who are still fighting each other very hard.
Nat is going to have an advantage because he have also fresh hearts, but I think Nat Hammer and Jay Kelly are running really slow in those mediums now with 7 laps.
Yeah, but the difficulty is of course that when you catch such a train, they all have DRS, so it won't be an easy pass for sure. But Plebs will just have to stay patient, as we see Carson in the pits as well. And doing that, he picked up a 5-second time penalty, going in too fast, speeding in the pit lane, and that won't help his race. As we see the pit crew of Haas also getting ready for Weirdo, making his one and presumably only stop in this race. No, he goes onto the medium tires.
Tricky now.
Interesting.
It's very tricky right now because he's gonna try to do at least another pit stop and takes the soft. But which guy you said that he have a 5-second penalty? Because I can't see it.
Carson picked up a 5-second penalty.
Picked the 5-second penalty, so now he's a little bit in a disadvantage because he needs to stop. Or maybe he doesn't need to make a stop because he's on the hard tires, but as you can see, we're lap 9 from 29 laps in the first race, which is the season opener in Bahrain, and the first night race as well. And as you can see, only 20 laps remaining, so maybe Joseph and BB, they're trying to maybe wait for another lap? Oh,
I don't think
seems
so.
like
They're both in.
They just went in, Cramp and BP, and the only driver who's just trying to get more time is Joseph. If there's a safety car in this lap, definitely Joseph is an advantage.
Yeah, and I think we missed it, but Cramp, of course, started this race on pole and was comfortably in the lead. He dropped down to third behind Joseph and BP, and they're exiting the pit lane right in the middle of this battle between Diano and Ned Hammer, and that won't help Cramp at all, as he is now behind the Racing Point and McLaren, while BP just managed to get out in front.
I think this is gonna be a little bit of suffering for these two. Oh, we have first retirement, weirdo.
Yeah.
In fact, but there's no safety car.
No,
so,
he just retired in the pits.
Yeah, because it wasn't something that he didn't have a good race strategy and setup, as you said. So you might get a little bit more frustrated.
Yeah, of course, restarting the lobby doesn't help with that. Having to reload your setup, of course, once you're on the grid in that new lobby. But yeah, not the way he wanted to start the season. But there's still plenty more races to go. And Cramp now really losing time as he tries to go around the outside, and that's a great move.
Slip, a very good slip by Ned Hammer. He manages also to keep the car in balance. The Rock, 3-second time penalty. Now the penalties are increasing. We see Ozair who have another 3 seconds penalty, and Lando who have 3 seconds penalty. 3 seconds penalty also for Tawfik, as multiple warnings are being shown for these guys. But also Cramp is trying to overtake the guy behind him, from him, ahead of him, Deando. Now he has DRS advantage. They need also to remember that they can't move in a braking zone if you're with the DRS.
Yeah, and while you were talking about Cramp making a move on the Diano, Joseph made his pit stop, came out ahead of BP, but the Haas driver made a quite decisive move into turn 4 and now takes the net lead of this race. Of course, SD still has to make his pit stop, so BP takes the virtual lead of this race ahead of Joseph. Cramp now back up into a net P3 in front of Plebs, who's also gotten past the McLaren of Diano, who's now losing time compared to the cars around him, of course, running on those hards since the start of the race.
I have a question here. Can Ash make another 9 laps on those mediums and try to get only one stop with the soft?
Oh, that's a very good question. He'll have to treat those tires like babies to be able to get them to a point where he can switch to the softs. I don't think he'll be able to do that. But if he does,
BP is catching him very fast. In fact, he's losing around 3/10 within every corner. So it's gonna be tricky for this guy Ash when he's gonna make the pit stop.
Yeah, of course, starting from 14 doesn't help, but I think he's still in for some quite good points. Of course, remembering that the likes of Diano and Ned Hammer and Tawfik all will have to make another pit stop. So he's looking likely to at least get like a top 6 finish, which won't be what he hoped for, of course, but it's still some good points. And in a championship like this, it's very important to be consistent and try to pick up as many points as possible, not get too many DNFs, and you know, you can win a season without actually winning a race. So yeah, being consistent is very important in such a short season. Of course, a 12 race calendar for all divisions.
It's interesting also to see that the guy from Mercedes, Rock, he had the worst, I think, race from all the drivers. A little bit of also damage on the wing in the first laps, a penalty, and definitely not a race that he expected. In fact, now those who are running on the medium tires, they have their pit stop, which are open to do so. But as you can see, Ash is losing around 1 second each lap. And Joseph now is going to have DRS on BP. Let's see if these two can overtake each other. No, they're a little bit more further down than, and they don't have the best also overtake situation right now.
Yeah, I think Joseph
is using a little bit less of ERS than BP is using.
I was just about to say that as well. I think Joseph is just hanging back a bit, using the DRS to stay within 1 second and just saving his ERS to be able to mount an attack later on in the race. And if you compare the two, BP down to 20% and Joseph just under 70% of ERS, so 50% difference. That's massive. Of course, we all know how powerful the ERS is in this game, and having such an advantage in ERS, it's definitely gonna help Joseph if he wants to overtake the Hess driver. And now Cramp also joining the party again. He has got DRS on Joseph as BP picks up a penalty, a 3-second time penalty.
If I was Ash, I would definitely not make that pit stop. I would have used another 2 laps so I can have fresh hard tires and will do a better position in this race. Because now, as you can see, Ash is going to be a little bit further down the grid in 8th place. Also the ninth guy with
Oh, and we have a safety car. Oh, that's the worst possible timing for Ashley, who's just come out of the pits, as we see Jay Wilco retiring at the turn 7. I think he crashed on the...
It was the last turn, I think.
No, he's parked on the exit of turn 7. I think he hit that curb and spun into the wall, as we already saw in qualifying a couple of times. And of course, now with this safety car, we see a bunch of drivers into the pits, boxing for new tires.
This is not going to help Krem, for sure. This is not going to help Clavs. It might help Deando.
Yeah, people like Deano and Nat Hammer, who still haven't made their pit stop, will definitely have some advantage from the safety car.
They can try to take the medium tires now.
Yeah, I think Nat Hammer, of course, has to switch from compound, so I think he'll be switching to the hards.
He needs to have the hards, but Deando now is going to have the mediums. And if we see another 2 laps of safety car, it will be lap 17. So it will be a good 12 laps on those mediums, and he's still going to be fast.
Now,
in fact, Deando now takes the pits.
Yeah.
Deando, he has a 5-second penalty.
Oh, he also sped in the pit lane.
To be aware.
Yeah.
To be aware that there's a speed limit in the pits, and you need to be very well aware about that, because then you need to have around 5 seconds taken off your time. And if there's a safety car before, the last few laps, 5 seconds is not enough to get through ahead, and you will lose a lot of positions, lose a lot of points. And this is the first race, as we said before. And we also need to remind you that this is the URL Championship, Asian Pacific. These guys are racing in the night, and we commentators, Nick, we are having a very good afternoon right now.
Yeah, exactly. And interesting things here. We see a lot of people diving into the pits, including the likes of BP, Euro, Cramps and Plebs, all boxing for new medium tires. But one man who didn't is in the lead right now, Joseph, staying out on his hard tires. Now might it be a mistake?
They have a very good advantage as well, because the other guys, they have 5-second penalties, and BP have 3-second penalties. So right now the situation is that if Cramp is not going to get ahead of those two behind him, Joseph is going to get through and try to also win this race now.
Yeah, I think Joseph really has got quite lucky that the car right behind him is Carson, who's also still on hard tires, and as you said, also has some time penalty. So for Joseph it will be crucial to stay ahead at the restart and then just try and create as big gap as possible before the likes of Cramp and Plebs get through the traffic and start hunting him. Of course, now those guys on fresh mediums, they will have a tire advantage. As we see Diano once again pitting. I don't know why that is. Maybe to get rid of the 5-second time penalty. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Definitely.
But he
down.
will lose quite a few positions, as there is of course no delta to restrict the drivers anymore. So people trying to catch up to the safety car can go flat out, and he will drop down to P13. But at least he won't have any time penalties.
I'm trying to think what's on the mind of that hammer making fresh softs. He can't make 13 laps on those soft tires.
That's very interesting. I completely missed that. He went onto soft tires.
He's running in the 6th position right now. He knows that he doesn't have the best racing pace ahead of the other guys. And definitely Ash is faster than him. And also Taufik is faster than him with those hard tires. So this guy, he needs to remember that he needs to pit again. Definitely he needs to pit again.
13 laps on softs. You'll have to be one hell of a tire manager to keep those softs intact until the end of the race. And as you said, he'll probably have to make another pit stop. And with the pack all benched up now, it will be very hard to get back into the same P6 he is in now.
Lap 16 out of 29, we're behind the safety car after an accident that Joe Wilkinson had in turn 7. We had only 2 retirements so far. It was the guy from the Haas, Weirdo, which we know that the Haas, they don't have any luck in this track, even in real life. And also Jay Wilco from the Red Bull team, that he misses out from the points in the first race. And as we see right now, a good chance, and we don't know who's going to win this race, as I think the top 5, they all are in chance right now to get the maximum points of this race.
Yeah, the longer the safety car stays out, of course, the better it is for people like Joseph. And the less time there is for the people on the fresh tires to catch them and to overtake them. So Joseph will be wanting to see that safety car for a little bit longer, I guess. But I think at the end of this lap, since all drivers are bunched up behind the safety car, we will probably get going at the end of this lap. And
is this a chance? Is this a chance for The Rock to go out on the, I think, fresh mediums now? Because he's already 6 laps with those softs. I don't know why he didn't make another pit stop. Trust me, I think this is the worst strategy that he can make as well.
Yeah, the thing is, he is of course a lap down, I think. So this.
He's lapped?
Yeah, I think he got lapped, at least.
Okay, so
it says here that he's 7 laps down.
7 laps, but I think it's a glitch.
Yeah, that must be a glitch.
Because he is just over to Weirdo right now, and he's overtaking Jay Will. It's not true, I think. It's a little bit of a glitch. It's going to be also an interesting situation to see where BJ4215 can go, as the guys ahead, they have penalties. He doesn't have any penalties, and he has fresh medium tires. So let's see if this guy can overtake the guys ahead of him and try to get at least a top 5 position.
Yeah, as we said, getting no penalties, staying clean will be important, as we get the message safety car in this lap. So now
all the drivers now are trying to get the right temperature behind the safety car, as Joseph might slow down a little bit more. He's not slowing down too much.
Of course, he can't overtake the safety car. So
they need to cross the line before doing a move on the other person ahead of them. So
and Joseph is still not going, and that means Carson is right on the back of him as we get this race restarted. And Joseph on the inside of turn 1 manages to keep ahead of Carson, who's still got his nose in, and now almost loses the rear of the car and is off the racetrack. Yeah, all the way down to P5 now, and that's not good news for Joseph as well, who's got those guys on the fresh mediums now right on his tail. Oh, MVP immediately went for the move at the first opportunity, but into those high speed turn 5, turn 6, turn 7, it's almost impossible to overtake. Joseph holding on to the lead for now, but I don't think for long.
It seems that Cramp, he just locked a little bit his tires and losing not position, but what is the Mercedes guy doing there?
Yeah, I saw it in the background as well.
It's very close for the Racing Point Net Hammer and URL Cramp, and 5-second penalty. Severe collision with Lando, virtual safety car is out.
Once again, now it's just a virtual safety car, and I think Net Hammer, yeah, he has some damage on the left hand side of his front wing. I saw some debris flying around in turn 10. I think he just was way too late on the brakes, and he lost some of his front wing. Now I think he has to pit now, because he won't make it until the end on those softs, especially not with the front wing damage. But he's staying out.
He's not gonna make it, and these drivers, they need to remember that they need to reduce their speed by 60%, and they also manage the delta, as they will take a drive-through penalty. No one took a drive-through penalty, but 3 wide, and that's a big collision! Oh. It's a big collision between Net Hammer and the other guy from Alfa Romeo. He didn't make any, he didn't press any brake.
Oh, and actually goes off.
A wing.
Actually is off. That was major chaos on the virtual safety car restart.
And the guy from McLaren also loses it. It's
Diano.
It's Total Rumble, yes? Oh, Diano.
No, Diano was in the gravel.
It's Diano. Did he collide with his teammate?
No. I honestly don't know what's going on anymore now. Total chaos on those safety car restarts. Did you see who caused that turn 1 incident with?
I'm sure that Net Hammer was ahead. The Alfa Romeo guy Arel Fulu. He tried to overtake the other guy from the Haas, and they ended up as a sandwich together. You know, 3 wide.
Yeah.
They can't turn 3 wide like that.
Net Hammer spun a half round at turn 1, still going though in P5, as both Mercedes now fighting with the Alfa Romeo. Of course, the Rock is a lap down.
5-second penalty for Lou, as he was involved also in that collision the first lap. But as you can see right now, also there's a very, very great challenge between these 3 drivers, Cramp, Joseph and Flaps. Cramp trying to overtake the Racing Point. In fact, he managed well.
Yeah, and Joseph already lost his lead.
Is in the lead of the track because of BP have a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, virtually Cramp now in the lead, and Joseph losing more and more positions, of course, on those older hard tires, not able to compete with the guys on the fresh mediums. And he is down to P4, and his teammate now behind him in P5, as we have Taufik of the racetrack here, side by side with Lando.
Another Sector 1 incident, I think it's the guy Jay Kelly?
Yeah, it was a random of Jay Kelly indeed.
Seems like Jay Kelly, he had a little bit of a struggle in that turn. And he have fresh softs also now that he entered the pits together with BJ2415. He have those soft tires.
Yeah, but
this is going to be a good challenge between the drivers of the midfield to take the top 10 position to get in the points as well.
Yeah, only problem is for guys like BJ, they're 21 seconds behind P10 at the moment, so with just 8 laps to go, it will be quite difficult to get into the top 10.
Right now also we see that Nethammer, he have 5 laps on those softs. He have also damage on the left plate of that wing, so he needs definitely to do a pit stop, but he's gonna do a pit stop on the soft tires again if they're available. And BJ2415, he just set the fastest lap on 1:28.094.
Of course, here in URL, that's worth an extra point, even if you finish outside of the top 10. So even if it stays like this, he will get an extra point for that fastest lap. As we see Cramp, taking a look, but not quite making the move into turn 11, as we have yellow flags once again. Not sure what for.
In all sectors.
Yeah, I think that's a lobby glitch once again. I think it's.
But there was a good challenge also between Lou and Carson, who are running after each other. In fact, also Lou overtook Carson, who are on medium tires. Not a good race for these two. I expected a little bit more from Carson, as you told me he's one of the favorites. But we know that he had a little bit of a struggle as well on those tires.
I think he was he got caught up in that virtual safety car restart, and yeah, shame, especially for him. Also, people like Ashley, who I just saw him crash on the exit of turn 2 at that virtual safety car restart, and he is out of the race as well. So for people like Cramp, that's an ideal scenario. Of course, your main championship rivals not finishing in the points, DNFing, with yourself in a very good position right now in P2, right behind the guy in the lead who has a 3-second time penalty.
It's a very interesting situation right now that all the guys from the top 4, they have DRS on each other. It's Cramp now that he's trying to overtake the guy from the Haas, but he needs to be aware to take care of that wing, as the guy in front of him, who's leading the race right now, but he's not winning the race definitely because he have a 3-second penalty right now. And Plebs is gonna try to take also a chance on the guy in front of him, while Joseph is still running on those 10 laps hard tires.
Yeah, he's keeping up quite nicely, still within 1 second of Plebs in P4, despite having the disadvantage of older and harder compound tires. So really great job so far by the Racing Point driver, as Cramp now has had enough and moves into the lead of the race, passing BP, and I don't think BP has an answer because he's quite some way back.
As you can see, they're swirling around the track. You can do that not in a braking zone, but only one time. It seems that the yellow flags are glitched because we still have those yellow flags out.
As we see Diano making or trying to make a move on the Alfa Romeo.
This is a battle for more points, as also the Taufik is gonna try to get
that's a late dive.
The other guy. Better tires also for the Ando.
And they're surely not going to go side by side into turn 10, right?
Taking more time to make that move, but yes, the Renault guy now is close enough to the Ando. The Ando didn't overtake the guy, and now they're turning together. A little bit of space for Taufik. The Ando went a little bit wide, but as you can see, Taufik now is gonna go to take that chance on Lando, which for me, Lando is a little bit more slow from those two guys because of those tires as well.
Yeah. And now Joseph just getting behind a little bit on the top 3, almost losing DRS, and I think in fact he doesn't have any DRS anymore. No, he hasn't.
We don't need to forget as well that Joseph, he doesn't have any penalties. He has 3 seconds penalties, so he's still a chance to be in the podium.
Yeah.
It all depends from him how fast he will try to keep these two other guys, Plebs and BP. But you see that Hammer now, he's struggling with those 8 lap soft tires. He have also 9 seconds of penalties, so for sure right now he's not even in a top 10 position.
And there's still quite some fighting going on a little bit further down the field here for P7, as Taufik has overtaken Lando, as you said. Renault driver making use of the DRS.
And there's also catching Uzair. Taufik is catching Uzair, and he's now gonna try to take also a chance on this guy while on DRS, but he's not in a DRS position right now.
No, still a little bit too far behind at the moment, but he'll just try to create a gap between him and the Alfa Romeo of Lando, as we have a battle for the lead, at least on track that is, with BP trying to regain the lead on track as Plebs out of nowhere. I didn't expect that to happen, and the Red Bull driver takes the opportunity to move into second place, and now he can attack Cramp in those last 5 laps.
And we also need to remember the guys that remind the guys that they don't have any penalties so far. If they're gonna have a penalty, this is gonna be a game changer for the top 5 right now.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be wanting to keep the car within the track limits, since they're all so close together. 1 3-second time penalty can really hurt you.
Joseph right now, he's only 1 second away from BP, so if he doesn't lose more than 2 seconds in the last remaining 4 laps, we know that also BP have a better tires, with the medium being a little bit more faster than the hard tires. Right now the situation is that Joseph is on the podium, but for how long? No one can tell.
Yeah, he still has 4 more laps to go to try and stay within those 3 seconds of the Hess. And yeah, behind him the gap to his teammate is growing, as Nethammer has now done 10 laps on those softs and doesn't seem like pitting anytime soon, as now
BP, he got another 3-second time penalty, and now we have 6 seconds penalty, and definitely he's not on the podium anymore.
No, that makes it a bit easier for Joseph as well.
Yes, of course, and he's gonna have a 4th secure position because Nethammer is away around 15 seconds from the top 4.
Yeah, still quite a big fight going on for P6 here, with Uzair still ahead of Taufik. Now Diano has also moved past Lando. We missed that, but Diano in a good position in P8 without any penalties. Just and they both go wide ahead of him, both Taufik and Uzair off the track at the exit of turn 10, and now Diano gets past the Renault and into P7.
Yes, in fact now Cramp is getting a little bit more of a distance from Plebs, but still Plebs is with a DRS advantage, and maybe it's time to make a move on Cramp. Let's see what this guy is gonna try to do. A little bit of a move on the braking zone. That's a little bit illegal by Cramp, but he still gets the leading position, and now he's gonna get another DRS. The Haas driver BP is getting closer also to those two, but it seems that for this lap Cramp is gonna still lead and Plebs is behind him, but you need to be aware, Cramp, he can't move in a braking zone when there's a DRS, and Cramp now is reaching also the guy D-Rock, who is in the last position, and D-Rock needs to go out of the way, else he will disturb the other drivers.
I think D-Rock actually left, so yeah, D-Rock is an AI driver, so luckily the AI knows how to get out of the way, as Joseph now also moves past him, as Lando picks up another 3-second time penalty.
Too much penalties in this season opener for sure, that they're going to change a lot of different positions.
And Taufik hits Diano going into turn 10. Luckily Diano keeps his car in a straight line.
No wing damage, no?
Yeah, I think there's some wing damage on the left hand side for Taufik, but it seemed like he just braked way too late into that tricky corner, of course, and now Lando is all over the back of him.
And we have a driver who just had a spin, BJ2415, and now he have the fastest lap. But can the URL ramp or plebs make a faster lap and take the maximum points of the first position and the fastest lap?
I don't think so. That lap by BJ was of course set on fresh softs. These guys already on their mediums for 12 laps now, so I don't think they'll be thinking about setting a fastest lap. I think Cramp is more than enough on his mind right now with this Red Bull all over the back of him.
Brace yourselves because we're gonna have a little bit more of a challenge right now. DRS for plebs. Cramp doesn't have any DRS. Jay Kelly retires from this race. He's a third retirement. Oh, sorry, fourth retirement, as we had Ashley retiring before. But we also saw that Uzair, he took a 3-second time penalty more, which is a 9-second time penalty, and definitely is losing more position in those top 10. And as we see, plebs now running ahead.
Oh, and we see a spin.
BP.
We see a spin from Nat Hammer on those old soft tires. He already has been overtaken by Uzair Indiano and then spun on the exit of turn 10. Now down to P9 with the wing damage. Oh, he has a puncture. He has a puncture. He has a left rear puncture.
In fact, yes.
That's why he spun. And as you said, the race just took 2 laps too long, as we have our leading 3 now on the final lap, and Cramp has nice advantage, and Plebs and BP are actually side by side going into turn 4, and BP gets another
3-second time.
Yeah, well, it
so
won't really impact his
seconds of penalty. He can lose also the top 5. No, not top 5.
No,
he's gonna lose the top 4 position for sure.
Yeah, but that already was quite obvious, of course. So he just tried to get a little bit of a better exit by using a bit more of the track than was actually allowed. So yeah.
In fact, now that we're reaching the last few corners, we need to congratulate this guy if he doesn't have any mistakes and if he doesn't have any penalties in the last few corners. Definitely he will win the first race of this URL Asian Pacific Championship, which is also hosted by myself, Ephraim Tabone, and Nick, which is from Holland. And well done to URL Cramp as he reached the last corner now without any penalties. A dominated race, also a dominated qualifying, and he wins in Bahrain for the first season.
Extra stall points for crashing across the line, as
that was a little bit of a bold move.
Luckily it doesn't matter anymore, as he wins the first race of the season. Plefs, really good race from him in the Red Bull in second place, and Joseph took a gamble with that safety car staying out and picking up the last podium position, as BP finishes just off the podium after his penalties, with Diano finishing in P5. Really good race from him from the back of the grid, and his teammate Toddy,
Alfa Romeo hit the Ferrari.
now he's without his front wing, but Lando
of course.
P7 keeping on despite having quite old tires.
Who's gonna finish 10th?
Oh,
let's see, it's a big challenge between them, but
BJ gets
BJ
it by
position.
exactly 1/10 of a second. That was really close.
But we need to see also what the stewards are gonna take against Taufik for choosing the wrong tires and starting on the medium tires instead of the soft tires.
Yeah, we'll have to wait what the stewards say, of course. Any penalties given to him won't really impact the race result, because he has finished outside the points anyway. But yeah, we're just waiting for the punctured car of Ned Hammer to roll across the finish line. He will be disappointed that
he didn't even try to change those tires.
No.
This guy is so ambitious.
He took a gamble and it didn't work.
Joseph, he just reached him again.
So yeah, here we have the stricken car of our race winner Ural Cramp.
Some fireworks also in Bahrain to celebrate this first victory of a night race. Well done to all the drivers for some nice clean racing. We had a little bit of accidents as well, but definitely it was a show for all these drivers, as we saw a lot of penalties going on. And also we saw the restart of the safety car, which was a little bit of a game changer for some of the drivers. But this guy, I think he deserves the win, and he deserved to be on the top position of the podium for tonight.
Yeah, definitely. He dominated, well, not really dominated quali, but he was on pole. He started the race well, then dropped down just before the first pit stops to P3. But then when the safety car came out, made the right call to switch to new medium tires and defended in the last laps from the Red Bull. And yeah, he takes the first win of the new season.
What a start for the Ferrari team. What a start also for the Racing Point, which is on the third position. Plevs taking the second position of the podium with the Red Bull Racing. Fourth, we have the Haas of BP, when he had already 9 seconds of a penalty. Deiano, he takes also the fifth position and sixth position for McLaren. So very good points also for the Papaya team. And seventh position we have Lando De Ford with his Alfa Romeo. 8th position we have Uzair with the Mercedes. 9th position we have Carson with a good recovery Ford at Williams. And 10th position we have BJ 4215, which is only a little bit of a second ahead of the Renault guy. But also he takes the fastest lap, so he takes an extra point, which makes it 2 points for the Alpha Tauri guy.
Yeah, especially a shout out to McLaren, of course. Rubbish quali, starting from the back row of the grid and finishing in P5 and P6. Great race by both guys.
We had 4 retirements, as we had the other guys who Wilkinson, Ashley, we had Weirdo, which were retiring from this first race. But definitely it was a good race for these three drivers, and I'm sure that they will do well in the next few races.
Yeah, I think Cramp has got the best possible start he could have wanted for this season, taking the win. And yeah, looking forward to next week. We'll be racing around the streets of Azerbaijan, the Baku street circuit, which will probably, seeing how many incidents we had today, I don't expect less safety cars there, let's put it that way. But yeah, that's the first race. Thank you very much for all of you watching. Thank you for helping me with commentating. I really enjoyed it, and hope to see you all next week.
See you, bye bye, and good night for those in Asia, and good day for those in Europe for sure.